So, one of my big goals for the new year, or I guess let me restart. Two of my big goals for this incoming 2026 year. Uh, but the first one is to make more art. Uh, that means art that's like joyful and fun for me to make that I actually like doing. My other big goal is to set up at a market, which means I need to like actually create enough art that I love and want to sell to fill a market stall. Um, Typically, my main medium is crocheting. I love to crochet like usable, wearable pieces. I'm not really big into amigurumi, which is what tends to sell the best. Um, but recently, I've felt more drawn to painting and maybe thinking about trying printmaking soon. Um, I feel like it's partially the vibes. I like this kind of different textile, you know, the feel of this medium. I like the flat uh paper of it all. But I also part of it is just because I have a lot of chronic joint pain and I don't want arthritis. So um yeah, this is my first time painting with gouache actually. This isn't my these aren't just like my original ideas. I did find a couple like Pinterest tutorials. It looks like this and this that I'm copying off of. And I really love watching sketchbook tours and speed paints on YouTube. And I've always been really interested in gouache, painting with gouache. And actually, this palette is from Five Below. It's like super cheap. It's probably the least expensive one out there. I don't know if it even has a brand name on it. And my paintbrushes are just, paintbrushes that I just so happen to already have lying around my apartment. Um, I feel like I tend to see hobbies online, on Pinterest or when I'm Instagramming, which isn't very often, see it on Instagram and really just want to jump into it. Um, I feel like I want to buy all of the things I would ever need, and then I end up with boxes and boxes and bins of art supplies that I used once, and then it wasn't really exactly for me. Um, I was thinking about gouache for a really long time before buying this palette, but I still went really cheap with it because I really would like to slow down, not just uh, what I take in for hobbies, but just trying to slow my buying in general is one of my big goals for this year. I am really looking forward to taking my time and really just enjoying the practice of it all. So, um, enjoy watching me paint for a little bit longer. And yeah. One thing that ended up being really fun about this cheap little palette actually was the limit in the colors that I have. A lot of them are really pastel-y. The paint isn't very thick like you would usually want gouache to be, but that's okay for learning. But I also don't have a ton of neutral colors. You'll see this here in a moment, but I'm going to start shading my mushroom with shades of blue because I didn't have, um, a normal dark brown or something that I would use for shadows. I'm, working on learning lighting and shadows while I'm painting. I really wouldn't consider myself a painter. I have done it, in high school, whatever. You paint in art class, but I've only done a couple personal paintings in my life. And also don't tend to gravitate towards realism while I'm painting or creating art in general, but I thought that these couple of tutorials I found online were good little starts for me. So after doing the first two, kind of copying off some stuff I saw online, I decided to sketch in something and, just kind of go for it, paint it from scratch. This is a photo of a chicken that I saw when I went to Puerto Rico on a service trip a couple years ago. I started by painting in a little bit of background. My paper is white, and I really wanted it to pop, like the white of the chicken to pop off the background, which didn't actually end up happening. Like I said, the paint isn't as thick as you typically would want gouache to be, and I'm kind of playing with how much paint is on my paintbrush or how much I water it down to layer and blend well, but it seemed like no matter how much paint I had on my paintbrush, that white wasn't really just popping off the page like I wanted it to. I don't know if this is a common problem, but my white, when I opened it, I had opened them a little while ago and then, didn't do too much and got back into it when I was recording this video. And a couple of my paints turned out like kind of crusty, which was a little strange. I think my white was the most affected. I don't know if that affected the quality of my painting while I was working on this little first page in my new gouache sketchbook. But it could. I, would like to try a few more things, some, YouTube tutorials, whatever, just to kind of learn, get my footing before I dive into it too much. But I think one of the first things I would like to invest in is a better palette. I'm thinking about going back over this page at some point with some colored pencils. I have watercolor pencils that I think might work well to kind of give it a little more detail and dimension. My brushes were a little old, a little fuzzy, and I just felt like I couldn't get exactly all of the detail that I wanted in there. But as far as being a beginner goes, I think this was a really good start.